Good morning. How are we all doing? Welcome to my rug hook and talk show. And just for the record, I think I forgot to tell you my name. My name is Annette, and I'm also a member of the rughookingdaily.ning website, which is a great website that just joins the world of rug hookers. So you can meet people from New Zealand, which I have, so a big shout out to Elizabeth Collins, who we've been corresponding with through the website and through email, and she's from Wales. So this is great news that we can connect to the whole world through this website. It's not my website, it's by Heidi Wolfright, if I'm saying it correctly, and she runs a shop in, for rug hooking and wool and yarn and all that fun stuff. I've never been there, but it's called London Wool, W-U-L, and it's www.rughookingdaily.ning, N-I-N-G. So go ahead, you can join up, you can share your photos of your rugs with whatever you're working on, and there's all different types of groups and forums and chats and discussions, so you'll go ahead and you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of that. So, I'm still working on my rug today. I did a little bit yesterday, not too much. So I'm gonna keep going with that, and get my chair in here. And in a bit, I'll show you a book that I find interesting. So I hope we're all doing okay today. We're having some really nice weather in the past couple of days here in Connecticut, which is where I'm located, and a bit chilly out, but nice and sunny. So I'll take that, because we all know the snow is going to be coming. And then you're in for some good hooking time in your house when there's nothing to do, and well, there's always something to do, but something you want to do is rug hooking, and it's just I love it. I could sit here and hook all day. It's very calming, it's very peaceful, and you just enjoy doing it. And like I said, what's nice is that you're the artist, and there's no right or wrong in your design except what you don't like. I mean, sometimes you might not like something, so go ahead and pull it out. And I don't pull too much out. I look and say, hey, the next rug I'll fix that up. Maybe I'm a lazy rug hooker, and that's okay. There are times I want it so perfect, and those rugs I sometimes agonize over a little too much, but this is what we do, and it's all good. When I started out rug hooking, I obviously didn't have any of the supplies that I had now. I didn't have this little frame to hook on. I hooked on a hoop, and it wasn't the worst. I had a hoop with I bought a quilt hoop, and it was quite large, maybe 12 inches, something like that. 12 inches. And I even got the stand to put it in, so I was able to sit on the couch and rug hook while I watched TV. And it just got cumbersome as the rug got heavier and heavier. I could see this probably wasn't going to work. I could not afford those expensive frames that were out there. So I was getting wool from Harry Fraser, and I realized he had some very inexpensive frames, which I'm going to show you in a minute. There we go. And this is actually the frame that I got from him. I'm going to pull it off so you can see exactly what it looks like. It was $29, and when women rug hooked years ago, obviously, we don't want to go back in time and think, oh, well, everything they did was wonderful because it was back then. I mean, I'm sure these women would have loved to have washing machines and dishwashers, so I'm not going to take that route, but to give homage to what they did with very little. I mean, they had none of this stuff. I mean, maybe eventually they started using hoops, and then they got smart and people started building frames. So, as you can see, I'll try to pull it over a little. There you go. It's just a wooden frame. It tilts. It just has some little screws here. This whole thing comes apart, and you can pack it with you. These two pieces come down. Everything, it's 4 pieces, so you can pack it up quickly. So this moves. I went and put some glue. It's coming off, but it's shelving, rubber shelving for in your cupboard. And I cut it out and I put it on here. And then Judy Taylor had showed in one of her books, her first book actually, how she made something, a frame, a portable frame, so you could take it apart and put it together out of PVC piping. I didn't quite do that, but I modified some of her suggestions onto this little rug frame. And wow, I use these clips. These are really, really tight. I mean, they will hurt your finger. These, not so much, but they're great because they have these rubber grips inside, so they grip onto the rug. They don't slide. These things are on there. And, I mean, my gosh, you could use as many as you like. I mean, now I'm going to start upgrading to a bigger frame, only because I find this cumbersome sometimes to keep changing, and I don't see as much of the rug as I would like. So I think a bigger frame would also help for my bigger rugs. But this is still great for my smaller mats. And I think if you have any requests on finding out how to get a frame like this, they don't make this particular frame anymore. Harry Fraser was bought out, I believe, or went away and somebody else is running it or took it over. But Yankee Peddler Rugs makes a little rectangle, square or rectangle, that just has 4 posts. It's wood, it's just like this. And you can tell her you don't want the carding strips on the side and put this little rubberized shelving paper stuff, whatever this is. It's like a rubberized thing. And you can obviously get these at anywhere. I got them on Amazon, very inexpensive, 12 clips for $6 or something, $10. These you can get at your local Kinko's or Office Max or any hardware store usually has that stuff. So that's that, but very inexpensive. And my point was, you know, you don't need to spend a lot to do this craft if you don't want to. And by the way, I'm hooking on linen, which is the most expensive material you could probably hook on. But I just found out that Michaels is a chain here in the United States. At least it is in the Northeast. I'm not sure if they have them in other countries or even in other states, but it's like a Joann fabric store. It's just a big crafty store. They carry linen packaged up for a very good price. So you can get like a 36 by 24 piece, and then you can get a bigger piece if you want. And so that's a good little resource if you're close to one of those stores. And I thought it was good because Michaels is always running these coupons, so you could always get sometimes up to 40% off of that piece of linen. That's amazing. I do use thumbtacks for the little spots that I want a little extra holding power, and that usually does the trick for most of this. I don't really need much more. These are great because they're smaller, so they fit into the spots where the bigger clamps don't quite get. And I try not to ever clamp over this thing because then it makes it unable to tilt. So that's the frame. Give you a little shot here of how we're doing with this. And you know, the design is not something I'm showcasing. I'm just here to chit chat with you while you rug hook. And so I wanted to show you another book that I have, and it's called Rug Hooker's Guide to the Yarniverse, and it's by Judy Taylor. These are advanced techniques for hooking with yarn, and she has some great pictures in here and some great rug hooking, and she does a lot of her own spinning with yarns. And you could just get lots of good pictures in here. So you'll see all kinds of good bugs. So go ahead if you're into hooking with yarn. This is a really great book, and you can get that on Amazon. And another book that I love to look at night when I'm just kind of chilling down and not into the hooking anymore. Sometimes you just get tired. This is a great book. It's called 1,000 Patterns, and I think they have a few of them, but I love this book. It's got all different kinds of colors and patterns, and just shows you how different geometrics work with color, and just, it's great. It's great for inspiration. It's just fun. It's just a fun book to look at. It gives you lots of ideas on color placement and that sort of thing. So go ahead and enjoy that. So we're just going to continue on here, and yeah, try to give it 5 minutes a day, like I said. But if you can hook more, then go for it and enjoy what you're doing, because it's just a craft that you don't have to be an artist to really get something crazy good results. Like I said, you could do geometrics, and what you want to look at with geometrics, obviously, because they're just shapes, but they're not just shapes when you fill them with the right colors. You can get amazing results from using geometrics solely. So go ahead and give that a try if you don't think you like the whole drawing on linen, or you can buy a pattern. And keep in mind the patterns are a little expensive because they've done the work for you, and you know, that's the way that goes. But feel free to you know, experiment and see what works for you, and just see if drawing a few circles or squares and filling them in with different colors, and see how that works out. Just trimming up my little tails. I know some people trim all at the end. I trim as I go along. I don't know. I'm a bit of a little weird with that. I like to keep it neat and tidy. And so we're just going to keep going here. And so my rug is moving along, which I'm glad, because sometimes I let it sit and get caught up. The summer comes and it's gardening, and then it's family time and barbecues, and that's a great time of year for everybody, I'm sure, but my rug hooking takes a little back seat, so it's kind of nice to get back to it and get it started again. And what's nice about hooking in the winter is, you know, up north here in the Northeast, everything's gone. There's no flowers blooming, and all of that prettiness has disappeared. There's no more happy sunflowers. And so this is a great way to add that color and enjoy hooking a few flowers and seeing how pretty it just adds to your decor, just to see these happy little flowers all the time. Even when it's not winter, you can have your little hooked mat of flowers, sunflowers, poppies. Oh yeah, it's a good thing to have all this going on in your house. I mean, and if you're so inclined to give these away as gifts, ooh, just make sure you give them to someone who really appreciates all the work that you're going to do on this and loves flowers and stuff as much as you, because these truly are heirlooms, and I don't think you could ever appreciate the amount of work that somebody could appreciate the amount of work that goes into hooking a rug unless you've actually seen somebody do it or you're doing it yourself. You then know how much work is involved here. So, but go ahead and hook away. It's a beautiful day here, like I said, and I'm getting some hooking done, which is a good thing, because I want to see these rugs completed, because there's so many new ideas to get to the next rug. And I am already thinking of something with geometrics, so that's a new technique I've kind of never gotten into, and that's more with color placement, and so I'm excited about that because I started hooking with yarn, and then I ended up really loving hooking with the strips because I've dyed a lot of them. I've dyed a lot of the wool myself, and I had so much fun doing it. And you can get a different effect with the wool fabric than you do with the yarn, and I like it. So I've been hooking a lot more with my fabric strips than ever before. But I really love the way it looks when you mix the two. I kind of like outlining with the wool fabric because it gives a sharp edge as you hook along, as opposed to the little beads of yarn. I like that sharp edge that you can get with the wool strips as opposed to the yarn. So I kind of like to outline and then I fill in. I like to do backgrounds in the yarn because it's continuous and you don't have to keep taking little pieces. And you can get a good variegated yarn from Violet Jane, and you can have still the same visual interest and switch up color yarns too if you want to get that. So I just like the ease of that, and actually for the floor I really do like the yarn because it just stands up really well and it just feels good underfoot. But it's all personal preference, and we'll talk about that next time, what a rug hooker is and a rug hooker artist. Are they one of the same? Are they different? And so we'll discuss that. Till we meet again, happy hooking.